The alarm bells rang through the ship as Commander Jake Harrison ran down the metal hallway. His boots made loud sounds on the floor as he rushed to the communications room. Something was wrong. The UES Liberty had been flying through empty space for 3 months, looking for new planets and checking on the few alien trading posts they knew about. Lieutenant Amy Carter was already at her station when Jake arrived. Her face was pale and her hands moved fast across the glowing buttons and screens. Strange sounds came from the speakers, not the usual quiet hum of space, but something else. Something that sounded like voices, but not human voices. "What do we have, Carter?" Jake asked as he stood behind her chair. Amy looked up at him with wide eyes. "Sir, it's an alien transmission. But it's not like the trading signals we usually get. This one is different. It sounds scared." Jake listened to the weird sounds coming from the speakers. The voices rose and fell in patterns that seemed almost like crying. Even though he couldn't understand the words, the fear in those voices was clear. Something terrible was happening to whoever was sending this message. "Can you clean it up? Make it clearer?" Jake asked. "I'm trying, sir. Give me a few minutes." Amy's fingers moved even faster across her controls. Slowly, the strange sounds became clearer. The computer started to translate the alien words into English. Captain Lisa Monroe walked into the room just as the translation began to work. She was a tall woman with short gray hair and eyes that had seen many years of space travel. She had been the captain of 3 different ships and had more experience with aliens than almost anyone in the human fleet. "What's the situation?" Lisa asked in her calm voice. "We're getting a message from somewhere called the Zilani Confederacy," Jake told her. "The computer is translating it now." The speakers crackled, and then clear words came out, though the voice still sounded strange and afraid. "To any ships that can hear this message, this is the Zilani Confederacy. We are under attack. Our worlds are dying. Our people are running for their lives. We have heard stories about your people, the humans. They say you come from a death world. They say, you know how to fight. Please, if you can hear this, we need your help." The room went quiet. Jake, Amy, and Lisa all stared at the speaker as the message continued. "The Krexar Empire has come to our space. They are not like other species. They eat entire worlds. They take everything and leave nothing behind. We have tried to fight them, but our weapons do not work. Our ships cannot stop them. In 6 months, they have destroyed 2 of our worlds. Billions of our people are dead or running away." Amy's hand stopped moving. She looked sick. The alien voice went on. "We know little about humans, but we have heard you are different from other species. The traders say you come from a world so dangerous that living there made you strong. They call you Deathworlders. We do not know what this means, but we are desperate. Our last 3 worlds cannot hold out much longer." Jake felt something cold in his stomach. He had heard the word Deathworlders before. Some of the alien traders used it when they talked about humans. They said it with fear and respect. Earth was dangerous compared to most alien worlds. The storms, the earthquakes, the wild animals, the diseases, all of it had made humans tough in ways that most aliens could not understand. "We can offer you many things in return for your help," the message continued. "We have minerals that are rare in the galaxy. We have medical knowledge that could help your people live longer. We have shield technology that could protect your ships. But most of all, we can offer you our friendship and our gratitude." The voice started to break up, like the person sending it was crying. "Please, if there are any humans who can hear this, we are begging you. We know we are asking you to risk your lives for people you have never met, but we have nowhere else to turn. The Krexar will not stop with our worlds. They will keep expanding. They will keep eating planets until someone stops them. Maybe that someone is you." The message ended with coordinates, the location of the Zilani homeworld. For a long moment, nobody in the room spoke. Then Lisa stepped forward. "How far away are they?" she asked Amy. Amy checked her screens. "About 2 weeks through the jump routes, Captain. The message is only 3 days old." Jake looked at the star charts on the big screen. The Zilani worlds were far from human space, but not impossibly far. If Earth decided to help, they could get ships there in time to make a difference. "Captain," Jake said slowly. "We need to send this to Earth Command right away." Lisa nodded. "Do it. Priority. 1 transmission. And Carter, keep monitoring for more messages from the Zilani. If they're sending out calls for help, they might send updates too." As Amy started sending the message back to Earth, Jake thought about what this could mean. Humanity had been in space for only 15 years. They had met a few alien species, but mostly just traders and explorers. They had never been asked to fight a war for someone else. But the message was clear. These Zilani people were in trouble, and they thought humans might be able to help them. The question was, would Earth's leaders decide to get involved in an alien war? And if they did, would humanity be strong enough to make a difference? Jake looked at the star chart again. Somewhere out there, alien worlds were being destroyed and alien people were dying. They had called humans Deathworlders and asked for help. Soon, Earth would have to decide what that really meant. Admiral Peter Collins stood at the big window in his office, looking down at Earth. The blue and white planet turned slowly below him as he read the message from the UES Liberty for the 3rd time. The words were the same each time, but they still made his stomach feel heavy. The door to his office opened and his assistant walked in. "Sir, the Defense Council is ready for you." Peter put down the tablet and walked through the hallways of Earth Command. The building was new, built only 10 years ago when humanity first started exploring beyond their own solar system. Back then, they thought they would meet friendly aliens who wanted to trade and share knowledge. Nobody had planned for this. The Shriam Council room was full of the most important people in human space. General Carl Brooks sat at one end of the long table. He was in charge of all human military forces and had fought in the wars on Mars 20 years ago. Dr. Rachel Stone sat across from him. She knew more about alien life than anyone else on Earth. Major Elena Rodriguez was there too. She had short, black hair and scars on her hands from fighting in the asteroid belt. She was known for being tough and smart in battle. Next to her sat Admiral Susan Kim, who controlled the largest human fleet. Peter walked to the head of the table and activated the big screen. The star map showed human space as a small cluster of blue dots. Far away, marked in red, were the Zilani worlds. "You've all read the message," Peter said. "The question is simple. Do we help them or not?" General Brooks spoke first. "Admiral, we have to be careful here. We've been in space for 15 years. We have 37 ships that can fight, and most of them are small. We don't know anything about real space war." Dr. Stone leaned forward. "But we do know about the species involved. I've been studying the data we have on both the Zilani and the Krexar. The Zilani are peaceful plant eaters. They're smart and they build good technology, but they don't make weapons. The Krexar are different." She touched her tablet and pictures appeared on the screen. The images showed strange ships that looked more like giant insects than machines. The Krexar are a hive mind. They think as one group, not as individuals. They grow their ships instead of building them, and they don't just conquer worlds, they eat them completely. Admiral Kim looked at the pictures with disgust. "How do they fight?" "Their bioships can change during battle," Dr. Stone explained. "If you hit them with energy weapons, they adapt and become resistant. They learn from each attack and get stronger. Most alien species can't deal with this." Major Rodriguez slammed her hand on the table. "That's exactly why we should help the Zilani. If these Krexar things keep expanding, they'll reach human space eventually. Better to fight them now with allies than fight them alone later when they're even stronger." General Brooks shook his head. "Elena, we don't know if we can win. Our ships are designed for fighting other humans, not alien biomonsters. We could lose everything. Or we could win everything." Rodriguez shot back. "Think about it, Carl. Every other species in the galaxy uses energy weapons. We use bullets and missiles and explosives. Maybe that's exactly what these bioships can't adapt to." Peter had been listening quietly, but now he spoke. "What do we know about Zilani technology?" Dr. Stone smiled for the first time that day. "That's the interesting part. They have things we need. Their shield generators are much better than ours. Their communication systems can send messages across the galaxy instantly. Their medical knowledge could help humans live 50 years longer. But General Brooks said. "They're asking us to risk human lives for aliens we've never met." The room went quiet. This was the heart of the problem. Humanity had always taken care of itself first. They had fought wars on Earth for thousands of years, but those were human wars for human reasons. This was different. Major Rodriguez stood up. "General, with respect, I think you're wrong about something. This isn't just about helping aliens. This is about what kind of species we want to be." She walked to the star map and pointed at the human worlds. "Right now, everyone in the galaxy thinks we're just another new species. They call us Deathworlders because Earth is dangerous, but they don't really know what that means. If we help the Zilani and win, everyone will know that humans are different. We're not just traders or explorers. When someone needs help against evil, humans will come." Admiral Kim nodded slowly. "She has a point. The political benefits could be huge. Right now, we're outsiders. If we save the Zilani, we become heroes. Other species will want to be our friends." General Brooks looked around the table. "And if we lose? If we send our ships to fight these Krexar and they destroy our fleet, what happens to Earth then?" Peter had been thinking about this question since he first read the message. He knew that whatever they decided today would change humanity's future forever. "I've made my decision," he said quietly. The room became completely silent. "We're going to help them." General Brooks started to speak, but Peter held up his hand. "But we're not going to send just a few ships and hope for the best. If we're going to war, we're going to war properly. I want every combat ship we have. I want our best crews and our best weapons. The aliens asked for help from Deathworlders. Let's show them what that really means." Dr. Stone looked excited. "Admiral, this could change everything for humanity." "I know," Peter said. "That's exactly why we have to do it right. Elena, you're going to coordinate with Fleet Command. I want all available ships ready to leave in 1 week. Carl, I need you to prepare our forces for a type of fighting they've never done before." Major Rodriguez grinned. "Sir, what should we tell the Zilani?" Peter looked back at the star map, at the red dots so far from Earth. "Tell them the Deathworlders are coming, and tell them to hold on just a little longer." As the council members left to prepare for war, Peter stayed at the window looking down at Earth. In a few days, human ships would leave for the farthest war humanity had ever fought. They would either come back as heroes, or they wouldn't come back at all. Captain Danny Walsh floated in his small shuttle as he looked at the massive ships being built around Mars. The red planet spun slowly below him, but his eyes were focused on the shipyards. Hundreds of workers in spacesuits moved like busy ants around the hull of the biggest ship he had ever seen. The UES Titan was longer than 3 football fields and bristled with weapons. Unlike the smooth, curved ships that most aliens built, human vessels looked like flying fortresses. They had thick armor, multiple weapon systems, and redundant systems for everything important. Humans built their ships to survive in fights, not to look pretty. "Captain Walsh, this is Control." "You're cleared to dock with the Titan," came a voice through his radio. Danny guided his shuttle into the massive ship's docking bay. As soon as he stepped out, he was met by Captain Kelly Morgan. She was a woman in her 40s with red hair and the kind of confident look that came from commanding big ships in dangerous places. "Welcome aboard, Danny," Kelly said as they shook hands. "Ready to see what we're working with?" They walked through the corridors of the Titan. The ship was new, but it already felt lived in. Crew members rushed back and forth carrying supplies and equipment. Everyone looked busy and a little nervous. They all knew they were preparing for humanity's first real space war. "How many ships do we have?" Danny asked as they entered the main command center. Kelly pointed to a big screen that showed the positions of ships throughout the solar system. 12 heavy cruisers, 36 destroyers, and the Titan. It's every combat ship humanity has ever built. Danny whistled softly. The screen showed ships coming from Earth, Mars, the asteroid belt, and even the outer colonies. Some were still being repaired from their last missions. Others were being loaded with every weapon and piece of ammunition Earth could spare. What about crews? We've got volunteers from every colony and every ship in the fleet. Word got out about the mission and everyone wants to be part of it. We're turning people away. Lieutenant Commander Steve Parker walked up to them. He was a thin man with sharp eyes who knew more about space combat than almost anyone. "Captain Morgan, we've finished analyzing the Krexar data." Kelly nodded. "What did you find?" Steve activated a smaller screen that showed the strange bioships they would be fighting. "It's not good news. These things adapt to weapons fire within minutes. Most galactic fleets use energy weapons, lasers, plasma cannons, particle beams. The Krexar bioships learned to resist all of them very quickly." Danny studied the images. The bioships looked alive, with surfaces that moved and changed like skin. "What about our weapons?" "That's where it gets interesting," Steve said with a small smile. "We use kinetic weapons, bullets, missiles, railguns, things that hit hard and fast. Dr. Helen Davis thinks the bioships might have trouble adapting to that kind of damage." Dr. Davis was Earth's best expert on alien biology. She had spent the last week studying everything humanity knew about the Krexar. If she thought their weapons might work, that was good news. "Show me our weapon loadout," Kelly said. Steve brought up another screen. "Every ship is loaded with nuclear missiles, kinetic penetrators, and conventional explosives. The Titan has our new experimental plasma lance, but we're not counting on energy weapons working for long." Danny looked at the numbers. The human fleet was carrying enough firepower to destroy small moons. "Think it'll be enough?" "We're about to find out," Kelly said. They walked to the observation deck where they could see the other ships in the fleet. The heavy cruiser UES Hammer was docking nearby, taking on supplies. In the distance, Danny could see the destroyers UES Storm and UES Lightning conducting practice maneuvers. "The trip to Zilani space will take 3 weeks," Kelly explained. "We'll use that time to train and plan. Most of our crews have never fought aliens before." "Have any of our crews fought anyone before?" Danny asked. Kelly laughed, but it wasn't a happy sound. "A few of us fought in the Mars colony wars, but that was human versus human. This will be completely different." Lieutenant Commander Parker joined them at the window. "Captain, we've received another message from the Zilani. Their situation is getting worse. The Krexar have started attacking their second-to-last world." The 3 officers looked out at the fleet in silence. Somewhere far away, alien people were dying while they waited for help that might never come. Or worse, help that might arrive too late. "How long until we're ready to leave?" Danny asked. 2 more days, Kelly answered. "Every ship needs to be fully loaded and every crew needs to know their job. We get one chance at this." A young ensign ran up to them. "Captain Morgan, Admiral Collins wants to speak with all ship commanders. He's on the quantum link from Earth." They hurried to the communications room where a dozen other ship captains were already gathered on screens. Admiral Collins appeared on the main screen looking tired but determined. "Captains, you're about to embark on the most important mission in human history. You're not just fighting for the Zilani, you're establishing humanity's place among the stars." The Admiral paused and looked at each captain. "The aliens call us Deathworlders. They think that word means we're dangerous. They're right, but not in the way they think. We're dangerous because we don't give up. We're dangerous because we protect those who can't protect themselves. We're dangerous because when evil threatens the innocent, humans show up with overwhelming force." Danny felt something stir in his chest. Pride, maybe, or determination. "You have the best ships, the best weapons, and the best crews humanity has ever assembled. Use them well, bring our people home, and show the galaxy what Deathworlders really are." The transmission ended and the captains began to disconnect to return to their ships. Kelly turned to Danny. "Ready to make history?" Danny looked out at the fleet one more time. In 2 days, these ships would jump to hyperspace and begin humanity's longest journey. When they arrived, they would either save an entire alien civilization or die trying. "As ready as anyone can be for their first alien war," he said. Kelly smiled. "Then let's get to work." The human fleet dropped out of hyperspace at the edge of the Zilani system and immediately saw hell. Captain Kelly Morgan stood on the bridge of the UES Titan, watching the main screen in horror. 6 massive bioships, each one bigger than anything humanity had ever built, were slowly destroying the last Zilani defense stations. The bioships looked like giant sea creatures mixed with machines. Their surfaces moved and pulsed like living skin, and weapons that looked like tentacles reached out to crush the smaller Zilani vessels. Around them, thousands of smaller fighter creatures swarmed through space like angry insects. "My God," whispered Lieutenant Sarah Kim from her position at the sensor station. "Those things are huge." Kelly activated her communicator. "All ships, this is Morgan, Battle Formation Alpha. We're going in hot." Captain Danny Walsh, commanding the cruiser UES Hammer, responded immediately. "Confirmed, Captain. All weapons. Ready?" The Zilani defense fleet was down to just 12 ships and they were losing badly. Their energy weapons hit the bioships but seemed to do no damage at all. The alien creatures just absorbed the attacks and kept moving forward. "Target the nearest bioship," Kelly ordered. "Fire everything we have. The UES Titan's main guns. Open fire." 20 tungsten rods, each one accelerated to incredible speed by magnetic rails, slammed into the side of the closest bioship. The creature vessel had been adapting to the Zilani energy weapons, but it had no defense against chunks of metal traveling at 20% of light speed. The bioship split apart like a rotten fruit. Green fluid and pieces of organic metal scattered across space. The other 5 bioships immediately turned toward the human fleet, their surfaces rippling as they began to change. "Sir, the bioships are adapting," reported Lieutenant Commander Steve Parker from his tactical station. "Their armor is getting thicker." "Then we don't give them time to adapt," Kelly said grimly. "All ships, fire missiles, full spread." The human fleet had brought every missile they had. Nuclear warheads, kinetic penetrators, and conventional explosives streaked across space in a deadly cloud. The Krexar had never faced anything like it. Their point defense systems, designed to stop precise energy weapons, couldn't handle 3,000 missiles coming at them all at once. 2 more bioships disappeared in nuclear fire. The remaining 3 began to retreat, but it was too late. Captain Walsh led his cruisers in close, pounding the wounded creatures with railgun fire until they stopped moving. "Holy shit," came Captain Ryan Stone's voice over the radio from the destroyer UES Lightning. "Did we just win?" "Don't celebrate yet," Kelly warned. "Sensors, what do you see?" Lieutenant Kim's face went pale. "Captain, I'm reading massive hyperspace signatures. Something big is coming." The space around the Zilani homeworld began to ripple. One by one, huge bioships started appearing. Not 6 this time, but 20, then 30, then 50. "Contact from the Zilani fleet," reported communications officer Bob Turner. "They're thanking us for the help, but they say the main Krexar force has arrived." Kelly looked at the tactical display. The human fleet had 38 ships. The Krexar had over 60 bioships, and more were still arriving. But the humans had already proven that their weapons could kill the alien creatures. "All ships, this is Morgan. We knew this wouldn't be easy. Remember your training. Remember why we're here. These aliens asked for help, and by God, we're going to give it to them." The Krexar bioships began to spread out, trying to surround the human fleet, but Kelly had fought in the Mars Wars and she knew how to handle being outnumbered. "Formation Delta," she ordered. "Concentrate fire on individual targets. Don't let them adapt." The battle became a deadly dance. The human ships moved in tight formations, focusing all their firepower on one bioship at a time. As soon as they destroyed one target, they moved to the next. The Krexar tried to surround them, but the humans were faster and more coordinated. Captain Walsh found himself facing 3 bioships at once. "This is Hammer, I need support. These things are learning to dodge our missiles." "On our way, Danny," came the voice of Captain Lisa Park from the destroyer UES Storm. Her ship and 2 others swooped in, hitting the bioships from behind while they were focused on the Hammer. But the Krexar were learning too. The newer bioships had thicker armor and better weapons. They began to coordinate their attacks, using their numbers to overwhelm individual human ships. The destroyer UES Thunder took a direct hit from a bioweapon that looked like liquid fire. The ship's armor held, but just barely. "This is Captain Joe Clark. We've lost main power and half our weapons, falling back for repairs." Lieutenant Sophie Green, monitoring communications from her station aboard the Hammer, suddenly looked up with excitement. Captain Walsh, I'm picking up something strange. The bioships are talking to each other, but it's not normal radio. What do you mean? It's some kind of biological signal. Like they're all connected to one brain. On the Titan, Kelly heard the report and an idea began to form. Steve, can we jam their communications? Not with conventional jammers, Steve replied, but if Dr. Davis is right about how their hive mind works, we might be able to disrupt it. Do it. Steve worked frantically. At his station, I'm creating a virus that should interfere with their biological neural networks. If this works, they'll lose their coordination. He uploaded the virus to one of their missiles and fired it at the nearest bioship. The missile exploded against the creature's hull, and for a moment nothing happened. Then the bioship began to move strangely. Instead of the smooth, coordinated movements they had shown before, it started jerking around randomly. More importantly, it opened fire on another Krexar vessel. It's working, Steve shouted. They can't tell friend from enemy. The virus spread from ship to ship through the bio-creature's own communication network. Within minutes, half the Krexar fleet was attacking the other half. The humans pressed their advantage, destroying the confused bioships one by one. Sir, the remaining Krexar ships are retreating, reported Lieutenant Kim. They're jumping back to hyperspace. Kelly allowed herself a small smile. Let them go. They'll spread the word about what happens when you mess with Deathworlders. The battle was over, but the cost was high. The human fleet had lost 4 destroyers and nearly 2,000 crew members. The Zilani had lost most of their defense fleet, but they had won. And the Krexar would think twice before attacking anyone under human protection. As the rescue ships began searching for survivors, Kelly looked out at the wreckage floating in space. Humanity had just fought its first interstellar war, and they had won. But she knew this was just the beginning. The galaxy was a dangerous place, and now everyone knew that the Deathworlders were ready to fight. 3 weeks after the battle, Captain Kelly Morgan stood in the main hall of the Zilani Capitol building. The room was filled with aliens she had never seen before. Some looked like tall, thin trees with multiple arms. Others were covered in fur and had large eyes. A few seemed to be made of living crystal that sparkled in the light. But it was the Zilani themselves that impressed her most. They were about human height, but moved with a grace that reminded her of dancers. Their skin was green like leaves, and they had large, gentle eyes that seemed to hold ancient wisdom. Elder Voss, the leader of the Zilani Confederacy, stepped forward. He wore simple robes but carried himself with dignity. When he spoke, his voice was soft but clear. Captain Morgan, we cannot find words to express our gratitude. You and your people have saved not just our worlds, but our entire way of life. Kelly felt uncomfortable with all the attention. We did what anyone should do when innocent people are in danger. No, said another voice. Ambassador Kree, a representative from the Alteran Republic, moved closer. The Alterans looked like large cats that walked on 2 legs. What you did was extraordinary. The Krexar have been expanding for 50 years. No one has ever stopped them before. Elder Voss nodded. In 3 days of fighting, humans accomplished what the rest of the galaxy could not do in 5 decades. You didn't just defeat the Krexar. You broke their will to fight. Kelly thought about the cost of that victory. 4 human ships destroyed. Nearly 2,000 good men and women who would never see Earth again. The memorial service had been held just yesterday, and she could still hear the names being read aloud. We paid a price for this victory, she said quietly. We know, Elder Voss replied, and we honor those who gave their lives for people they had never met. This is why we have called this gathering. The galaxy must know what happened here. The hall filled with quiet voices as the various alien representatives talked among themselves. Kelly could see amazement and fear in their faces. Word had spread quickly about how humans fought. Their brutal efficiency, their willingness to sacrifice, their refusal to give up even when outnumbered. Ambassador Kree spoke again. Captain, my people have been wondering about something. Why did you come? The Zilani offered payment, but you could have demanded much more. You could have asked for entire systems in return for your help. Kelly considered the question. It was something she had thought about during the long trip back to Zilani space. Because it was the right thing to do. When someone asks for help, against evil you help them. That's what humans do. The alien representatives looked at each other with expressions Kelly couldn't read. Finally, a new voice spoke up. It came from a being that looked like a walking pile of rocks. This is not how galactic politics usually work. Most species help others only when they gain something in return. Then most species are doing it wrong, Kelly said simply. Elder Voss smiled, an expression that looked strange on his plant-like face. This is exactly what we hoped you would say. Captain, the Zilani Confederacy formally requests an alliance with humanity. We offer our friendship, our technology, and our support for as long as our species exist. Before Kelly could respond, Ambassador Kree stepped forward. The Alteran Republic also wishes to discuss an alliance with humanity. Our worlds are far from Krexor space, but we have heard what you did here. We want Deathworlders as our friends, not our enemies. More voices joined in. The crystal beings offered trade agreements. The furry aliens wanted to exchange scientific knowledge. Within an hour, Kelly had received formal requests from 12 different species. I appreciate all of these offers, Kelly said, but I'm just a ship captain. These decisions will have to be made by Earth's government. We understand, Elder, Voss said. But we wanted you to know that humanity's actions here have changed everything. Before this battle, most species saw humans as interesting but unimportant. Now they see you as the people who stopped the Krexar. That carries enormous political power. Kelly excused herself and walked to a quiet balcony that overlooked the Zilani capital city. The buildings were grown rather than built, looking like enormous flowers and trees reaching toward the sky. In the distance, she could see human ships working alongside Zilani vessels to repair the damage from the battle. Captain Danny Walsh found her there an hour later. Quite a party in there, he said as he joined her at the railing. Danny, what have we done? Kelly asked. We came here to help some aliens, and now it looks like we've changed the entire galaxy. Is that a bad thing? Kelly thought about it. I don't know. Before the battle, humanity was just another new species trying to find its place. Now everyone either wants to be our friend or they're afraid of us. That's a lot of responsibility. The Admiral's message came through an hour ago, Danny said. Earth Command is sending diplomatic teams to meet with all the species that want alliances. They're also building more ships, lots more ships. Because they think there will be more wars. Because they know there will be. Kelly, what we did here wasn't just about saving the Zilani. We proved that someone can stand up to bullies like the Krexar and win. That's going to make other bullies nervous. Some of them might decide to test us. Kelly nodded. She had been thinking the same thing. And what about the Krexar? We hurt them badly, but we didn't destroy them completely. Intelligence reports say they've pulled back to their core systems. They're rebuilding, but they're also scared. Apparently, the virus we used is still affecting some of their bioships. They can't trust their own communication networks anymore. They stood in comfortable silence for a while, watching the alien city below them. Finally, Kelly spoke. You know what the strangest part is? When we left Earth, I thought we were just going to fight one battle and come home. Now it looks like we've become the galaxy's protectors. Are you okay with that? Danny asked. Kelly thought about the memorial service, about the faces of the crew members who had died so far from home. Then she thought about the Zilani children she had seen playing in the city streets, alive because humans had decided to fight for them. Yeah, she said finally. I think I am. If being Deathworlders means we protect the innocent and fight the evil, then I'm proud to be one, Danny smiled. The crew feels the same way. They're already asking when we get to go home and tell everyone about what we did. Soon, Kelly said. But first, we need to make sure the Zilani are really safe, and we need to start training other species to fight like we do. If we're going to be the galaxy's guardians, we can't do it alone. As the sun set over the alien city, Kelly made a decision. Humanity had answered the call for help and proven what Deathworlders could do. Now they had to live up to the reputation they had earned. The galaxy was watching, and the universe was full of people who needed protection. It was a big responsibility, but Kelly thought humans were ready for it. After all, they had spent their entire history learning how to fight for what was right. Now they just had to do it among the stars.